Yo, what up? Hello and good evening. I go by the name Camp from the Port, and um, this is another Tuesday, another new music Tuesday. We are doing Tuesday music reviews. And before I get into that, you already know the drill. If you've already been here at least 1 week in advance, but if this is your very first time checking me out here on this channel, made in the 1980s. Made in the 1980s. That is the name of the podcast. That is the name of the trademark, as well as the podcast. You make sure you check it out. Friday mornings, audio version goes live. Saturday mornings, video goes live on YouTube, right on this YouTube channel. If you are watching on YouTube, salute to everybody watching on Facebook and also watching on Twitch. Wherever you decide to watch or listen to me, it's always greatly appreciated, man. Don't ever think that it's anything less than gratitude, you know. Man, there's a lot to talk about. I want to save probably some of this for the Saturday Night Live, but because it's in real time, rest in peace, Roberta Flack. You know, I saw that she had passed, and also, man, because I saw it this morning, rest in peace to one of my favorite co-workers, Betty. I saw that she passed. I got a chance to talk with her briefly before she left us, unfortunately, when I seen her message about being in hospice. But rest in peace, Betty. I met her through my Walgreens days when I was the manager of the store in Batavia, Illinois. And man, it's unfortunate. Whenever you lose people that you have worked with before, that's always it's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking. But prayers to her family and sincere real friends, and I hope that she is no longer in pain and that she is and truly in a better place. hmm So yes, let me switch gears though. Let me switch gears because it is still Tuesday. It is time for new music. Although life um, deals us the hands that we have to play it to our best of our ability. I didn't want to just make it all about me in this review. I at least wanted to acknowledge uh, something other than this at the moment, and we'll probably pick it up on the content side, maybe on Saturday. I know there's a wrestling PLE on Saturday, so we may have to do that live a little earlier than normal. Normally earlier than I would like, but either way, y'all gonna get some more music content from me for sure. But let's get into this week's album review. I want to share very quick story, I guess, or analysis of myself. On last week, I might have teased a certain review. And after further review of what I'm really doing this for, I'm not going to do that review anymore. We're not doing that. Me listening to an artist that I don't really care for just because they're an international superstar, that don't really do you no favors. I don't really see the win in me telling you to about an album or maybe listening to an album that has from an artist that has 100 million sales, $100 million. Even though obviously, look, we like what we like, and there are some people that you'll definitely hear from me when it's time if they drop. But there's so much marketing and promotion that goes into a lot of the music that you may already know about, especially from multi-platinum artists. That you don't need me to co-sign if it's good or not. You don't need me to tell you to listen to the album. Unless you sincerely just want the review, then you submit that to me. What you would, if you would like my thoughts on the music, then that's different. But for me to just give you a review on a superstar, eh, we could take or leave it, man. You know. And as I was thinking about that and thinking about what I'm gonna do for the rest of the Tuesdays throughout the year and what I'm going to do with music and music reviews, what became very important to me is that I get back to my essence. I get back to what made me a true music lover and a fan of all like music and virtually any artist. And that's me picking out songs, picking out albums for whatever reason, giving it a chance, and then coming back to all of you to tell you about what I've heard. Now, that does not mean that every week I'm definitely going to put you into somebody that you don't already know, because I'm hoping that this platform and this Tuesday, every Tuesday is a Tuesday for music lovers only. This is for the real music fans. So if if I don't put you on, it's all good. Maybe we're just connecting on a an artist that you already know and love, or maybe we feel more people need to have awareness of these artists. So even though I would love every week that I put at least one person on to one new artist or one new album, that would be awesome. That would be completely amazing to me. So I aim to do that. And for me, I've always liked the visuals when it comes to music, when it comes to art, right? So whether that's the name of an artist or the album title or the album cover. I went through a phase, ooh, excuse me. I went through a phase where if the album cover looked fire, I'd listen to the project. Just that simple. And I got a hold of a lot of different genres, singles, artists through that method. And it's just about giving it an honest try. And they won't always be winners. There's definitely some albums out there whose album artwork was way better than the actual music or the vocal ability. You take a gamble, but that's the joy of music. That's the joy of being a fan of music. It's the journey. It's the journey in listening and to trying to connect, or at least giving a fair shake that maybe your algorithm won't, that maybe the label doesn't, you know. And I want to implement some of that in real life. Hopefully, we got something really cool to talk about soon in that. So let's focus here, because as I get back to the essence of what made me a music fan, which is just taking a gamble on artists, and albums. I want to say I totally just dismissed the album I was going to do this week because we're not doing it, and I decided to just search. And since I don't know where the nearest record store is, and there is not a Best Buy that's carrying CDs anymore, at least not around me, I hit title because hey, the music sounds better on title. And I just started scrolling through the suggested new albums because they have me, labeled. They have me in somewhat of a box, like, hey, you've listened to this, that, and the third. You might like these people. And I took my scroll, and I landed on. Actually, I should say I stopped at an album cover with a brother that had like a L cut in his afro and like like the OG, like late 70s, but transitioned into the early 80s wallpaper. He and that's the background. And he in there with like this L cut out of his fro, or it could just be like a really smooth part. And it said Sunset Black by Bren Joy. So I was like, huh, can't front. The album cover looked kind of cool. Like, hey, this is either gonna be pretty fire or it's gonna be all right. But Bren Joy, Sunset Black, I'm willing to take a gamble on it. Off top, looking at the cover, I felt like it was gonna be like a soulful vibe. I did not expect a rap album. So which is another reason why I kind of checked for it also. I'm like, hey, this don't look like the same thing I'm gonna be getting like from what I know is already out. So I said, let's click on it, man. Let's click on it. Let's do this. And that was just step one. Step one is seeing the cover, seeing the artist, and then I gave it one listen. I was like, wow, dope. Like this is actually a dope project. So that's what the first listen. So for me, what I normally do when I have no idea who you are as an artist, and I've already listened to your project, then I go do a little research, do a quick Google, find the Googleable facts about the artist. So again, in case you missed it, the album review this week is going to be Bren Joy's Sunset Black album, which is technically his second release, second studio album release. His first one was called 20s, which literally dropped right before the pandemic. I have not listened to it, but after what I've heard on the listens of Sunset Black, I'm definitely going to give it a check. Give it a listen. I'm sorry. So the coolest thing about this, and I promise you, is pure coincidence. This brother's from Nashville. His brother's from Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, Bren Joy is from Nashville, Tennessee, and he had a show out here recently, and I definitely missed it. Had no idea. I'm out of the loop. As far as this scene is concerned, if there is a scene, which is alt R&B or just alternative R&B. We'll get into that too as well. But the cool thing is that he will be back here in March to do another show. I think it's going to be in East Nasty, aka East Nashville. If I am in town and not tied up with something career related, I will definitely try to make sure I'm in the building for that. And he also had a collab joint with my guy Pink Sweats, who's another incredible vocalist out there. If you are not aware of Pink Sweats is super fire. The joint they got is called Insecure, and it's heat. It's heat. I expect nothing less, honestly, from Pink Sweats, especially vocally. It's in that lower tempo R&B, but very very soulful singing throughout. And he also has a joint, Bren Joy, that is. He got a joint with Denzel Curry. It was for a television show. I'm not really savvy on television shows. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Arcane, Arcane. I did not get a chance to listen to that song. But if you know about it, just know I'll be checking it out soon so I can be up to speed as well. And he's currently signed to a major. But you know how that kind of works in this era where everybody kind of has to build their own thing, their own movement. Labels are banks now, right? Labels are banks and DSPs, right? So I don't know if there is truly a push behind a brand that is more than just making sure I saw his album on DSPs this week or last week. I'm sorry, because this dropped on the 21st. It's the 25th now. But I will say I was impressed. I was impressed and honestly like pleasantly surprised. A lot of times, and I'm going to say this about Nashville artists. Obviously, Nashville is known for country music, but at the same time, Nashville is Music City. And with that, I think, from my personal opinion, personal perspective, I think that the other scenes and the other artists, the other genres of music here in Nashville have just not been built up enough. I think so many people have focused on country music that you don't realize that there's rappers here, that there's pop stars here, that there's rock stars here, that there are, R&B singers here, because there's a little bit of everything. I kid you not, every month I saw or see someone of some other genre doing music here in Nashville. It is not just country music. There just needs to be more cultivating of scene here. And literally just speaking with my wife about this week, I would love to be the innovator and the creator of scene here for just another brand of music to really put the music in Music City, to show that it's one more type of music, because the people that are here, they really do know. They really do know. Um, I seen Erica Badu and Goody Mob here. Snoop was here. Um, Obviously, you know Jelly Roll was here. Kevin Gates was here randomly when I was taking my daughter to see Kids Bop. So that's been a minute, right? But there are other acts, other artists all over. Unfortunately, a young lady who just recently passed in a car accident. She was a dynamite gospel and R&B singer out here. Black woman. And there is a lot to still see here. There's a lot of venues here. There is a lot of people that want that um just alternative, black, white, Latin, Asian, others. They're there. I was just telling you on Saturday, I just went to the JoJo show. We were all in there. Everybody of every walk of life was in that show. So I do want to be more instrumental in creating more music scene outside of country music scene here in Nashville. And hopefully we'll get together and we'll make that up. My guy Philip Banks chimed in. We're gonna get to that. So funny you would say that. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Oh man. So again, listen to the cover because I thought it was a cool little cover that he had on there with the L-shaped fro and all that. Went over a little bit of what I had to learn about dude. So salute to Bren Joy, being from Nashville, Tennessee, born and raised here, and getting this music thing popping. He's listed as alternative R&B, and listen, off the rip, I can tell you for sure, the Sunset Black album, you're gonna get an incredible vocal range. Like, dude, range is pretty crazy. There's a lot of like just different layers and textures to his voice. I don't know if this is just my ears, but sometimes I thought he sounded like a woman on some of these joints. And we're going to talk about that as well. And even though he's listed as alt R&B, which is like alternative R&B, and I get what they're saying with that. Alternative R&B low key is what neo soul used to be. Low key. And they're doing that, I guess, to just, I guess, let you know the dude has soul, I guess, you know. But I'll say this, even just beyond that alternative R&B box they're trying to put Bren Joy in, I hear a lot of jazz in here. I hear some pop in here, even a little folk music. And his tone, you know what I'm saying, with the vocal range and the range in which he can sing and the power in his voice. There's even just some traditional like OG gospel that your grandma probably listened to in his vocal performances. So you get a lot from one artist just in here in this pocket and this one project, Sunset Black. You get a lot of just music. You get a lot of range. You get a lot of culture. You get a lot of texture. There's a lot going on this album, and I'll do my best to unpack it after what 4 listens, 4.5 listens. So right out the gate, it come on smooth in the mug with the song Blue Jay. Blue Jay's a smooth cut, and off top, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm probably gonna get some Lucky Day-ish type of music. I'm gonna get some uh even my guy, like, you know, like Kevin Ross or um no, Vito does a little more like slower R&B, but you get where I'm going. I think we're gonna get. I'm thinking that's the vibe basically as we kick off the album. It's gonna be in that vein, or even like a Victoria Monet or something like that. But then, literally from track to track, from track 2 to track 5, it's not that it's all over the place, but he kind of took on some sounds to the point I had to check the track list. My dog, my dog Philip Banks said he sounded like Raphael Sadiq. And I feel where you're coming from, because on what tracks 2 through 5, so what that's Cherry, that's man, what was the other joint? Hold up. Let me get my notes. Yeah, Cherry, No Fear, Horse, and the Couture and Blood on the Thames. He gave me a lot of with the Raphael Sadiq vibe, like Bilal. I felt some Bilal. I felt some Albert Anderson pack in there. Pause. But he sounded so much like those guys, or just like inspired by those guys. I checked the credits. I swore Anderson Paak was on Couture, or in another one of those other joints. And you know, this is what I got on October London about, because I'm like, dog, you literally sound like R. Kelly, and you literally sound like Marvin Gaye, and you literally sound like you could be in Ready for the World. I don't think it's that bad on this project, but there is a just that hint of, this is where, like, he's like the lost Soulquarian, you know. I'm surprised if he doesn't already know Erykah Badu. They're definitely going to collab. They're definitely going to collab. I just seen Bilal, Tiny Desk. They definitely need to collab. So, you know, from 2 to track 2 to 5, and again, because hey, look, I'm right with you, bro. I'm right with you. He cold. The vocals are cold, and I'm going to emphasize that a lot during this review. As a vocalist, he top tier. Like, he up there. There ain't too many people that can do what he do vocally. Case in point, when you get like to the middle of the project, it's a joint called Wandering. Now, this is a male vocalist, but I promise you, he sound like he's from the 1940s in this. But he sound like he could be like Lena Horne or Ella Fitzgerald or Billie Holiday on this joint. His vocal range is incredible, and it ain't synthed up, it ain't auto-tune. You can tell he really singing this. And I know he's a graduate from I think it was is it Belmont? I think it is. But he's like a trained vocalist, but like Wandering vocally is incredible, to the point where he literally sings you into an era that none of us was alive for, unless you're like 70 or 80 something, and you watching this, and I appreciate you too. Respect the OGs at all time, you know. But from there, you get to Policeman, and he bringing you right back up. So now you got the smooth 1940s piano sound, very raised boom boom roomish, right? But then Policeman right back in a more low to mid tempo kind of bop. And then we get to my favorite joint on the project, which is Skin. Absolutely my favorite song on there. That was the one track that I absolutely loved on the first listen. That don't mean that there ain't no heat on here outside of Skin, but Skin was the one that I gravitated to the most. Um, has a real like sexy, soulful feel. I kind of wish he got into this bag 2 or 3 more times on this project. Give me a block, 3 or 4 songs like that. And I I probably give this album a higher rating than I'm gonna give it. Um then, right? Nashville, Tennessee. Again, never forget he's from Nashville, Tennessee. So from Skin, we then dial it back, and he's got like this soulful acoustic country type of joint called El Dorado. Again, another great vocal performance. So literally what I'm telling you is that the dude within 8 tracks, he's giving you Raphael Sadiq, Anderson Paak, Anderson Paak, Bilal, kind of like vibe, energy, vocal intonation, right? Then he's doing like kind of like your traditional folk pop, right? Then he's doing R&B, and now he's doing like a country song, like a country soulful song in this. If you're very familiar with the origins of country music and how black artists, black people were a big part of that, it sounds a lot like those early records. Um, if y'all are familiar with the Warren Treaty, it's their bag that he's in on this in a lot of ways as well. And you kind of as I even as I sit here and think about it, and as I'm looking at my notes too as well, a lot happens within what 12 tracks, 41 minutes, 27 seconds. A lot happens in these 12 tracks. And it's not quite a roller coaster. The vibe is not quite a roller coaster, but it does kind of just take you like back and forth. There's a lot of range of feels. And for me personally, I'm a person who enjoys albums that have just consistency of flow. Um, like I don't care if you switch it up, like that's cool with me. But what is the overall tone of the album? That's that's important to me because I automatically think of it from a perspective of okay, you and who are gonna come to town, and am I gonna go to that show? And if I'm gonna go to that show, what is the energy? Is this a show up maybe stylish, maybe even business casual, maybe with my lady, or do we show up in jeans and t-shirts? I get 10 milligrams down and we chilling. Like I need to know what is the energy of the show that you're going to that I'm in for when you're showing up. Like that's important to me. And granted, with this project, Sunset Black, he can be virtually with any artist. But I want to know what is the when we say alt R&B and we're saying I'm an artist, I do think there should be a signature sound attached to an artist when they're doing their thing. Um, I never really got settled with this album. Like I never got set in a sound and was like, yeah, like this ain't the mode for the whole album, but this ain't either. Like neither one of them is, and it's I never got settled. And the progressions and regressions are track to track versus, you got 12 tracks. It's not like this. There is no leveling and like crescendo, decrescendo, progression, regression. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. Um, Make no mistake though, he sounds great on every track. The vocal performance on this is stellar. But this also feels as a complete project. Sunset Black as a project feels like when I put my tracks, my added tracks on shuffle. And there might be some Billy Joel and then Wu-Tang Clan and then Faith Evans and then John Mayer. It could be that. And then it'll go right into the Beastie Boys, which would then give me Nas. So still, even in that, they'll kind of keep you in a certain space. And the playlist vibe is cool because that's kind of what the new era is doing now, right? We just listening to music. Uh, it works better when it's bangers and it's certified classics. Not saying that any of these songs can't or won't be, but on the first listen of an artist, for me, it's the first listen. So, hey, because maybe 20s, the album before this, the project before this, maybe this sounds more cohesive and more fluid as far as the duration of the actual project. Maybe it does, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the kamikaze. I can do everything, so watch me do everything. Listen, it's there's a song for every single environment. Every single environment. My man Banks said, "Yeah, I can see listening to this on a car ride." Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm gonna keep using this analogy. It's like listening to like a new age Jack FM because you can hear all of that. You can hear Uptown Girl, you can hear Quit Playing Games with My Heart, you can hear Billie Jean, and you can hear Walk This Way. All classics. You know what I mean? Like that, like you're not gonna lose. He definitely covered all bases. Definitely covered all bases. And speaking of that, there's a joint on here called Never Wanna Let You Go. And that is definitely, if it ain't already placed already, that song is going to be in some cult classic TV show or movie, or it's going to be on some commercial. Like there's got to be some Apple product, or there is going to be some electric vehicle that's going to drop, and this song is going to be in the commercial. You're going to hear this at Target. This is going to be Never Want to Let You Go. If they have a video, if they create a visual for you and they present this song, this is going to be one of those songs that is going to win a Grammy or be nominated for a Grammy. You're going to be like, who is this? I've never heard the song before. And then they're going to play it and be like, oh, I remember that. It literally feels like one of those songs. And it's again, a great vocal, dope song. It's more in that again, like poppy, folky kind of vein as well. So that's a quick rundown of the album. I don't want to go track by track for y'all. I want you to listen to it. I want you to really like tap in and really give it a chance. But I'll say this: 12 tracks, 41 minutes, 27 seconds. With everything I've said and had, and I'm gonna, even though they're calling it alternative R&B, I'm just gonna make it genreless because I can hear out everything else. I'm still going to give it a 3 out of 5. Now, 3 out of 5 is dope to me. I think 3 out of 5 is very dope. It's very fair. Again, it has nothing to do with his actual talent. Vocally, this is great. If you are just a fan of great vocal performance, great singing, this is one of them ones. You will not be disappointed with the vocal performance. Um, the sound is eclectic, dare I say unpredictable. Even by looking at the cover, I didn't expect to hear everything that I heard on this project. Much like just stated earlier, he has something for everybody on here. I and that's race barrier breaking, gender barrier breaking, age barrier breaking. Again, he sounded like he's from the 1940s. He sounded like he was on the set with Lena Horne on one of these songs on this joint, right? Um, and although he has something for everybody, I'm not sure in 2025. I'm not sure how effective that is when trying to build a fan base. Now, and this is not me putting these two in the same category at all. Not at all. But Lil Nas X tried this exact same thing. Didn't quite work out for homie. However, I want to be crystal clear when I say Bren Joy is far more talented than Lil Nas X. So I'm curious to see how this works, because not too many artists drop so many different songs, so many different vibes, so many different genres within one project, and they do the kamikaze mission and it just works. But Bren Joy is vocally strong enough to make every single thing work. You can tell he not just trying it, like he really do this. So that is going to that's going to be interesting, because I don't know who his fan base is. Don't know. I could see somebody my age liking it. I'm middle-aged, but I could also see the new hipster kids that are like 17 to 25. I could see them loving this. I could also see somebody in their 60s saying that they like a couple songs on here as well. So there is he's casting a wide net. I'm curious to see what comes back. But solid project, man. Solid project. This is dope. I'm glad I took a chance on this. Hoping that y'all will do the same if you haven't already. Yeah, hey, it's 2025. A lot of music is getting buried. Artists are being shelved or dropped from labels. Labels ain't giving no money. Artists are going back to a band camp and a more direct to consumer avenues as a way to get their art out to the people. So I also want to be a person that's a purveyor of music that you may not be up on, or just champion the music that's maybe under promoted or underappreciated. Me doing a review like Bren Joy's Sunset Black, I hope helps bridge that gap, because he definitely deserves to be heard. I don't care what you into. Listen to this album. You should like at least 3 joints off of here. And they may not even sound the same, but you should still like 3 joints off this project. So that's what I got for y'all this week, man. 3 out of 5 for Bren Joy, Sunset Black. Please listen to it again. Hey, next Tuesday we will be back for another album. I don't know. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look and see what's out throughout this week, and then of course new music drops on Fridays. So maybe something else in there. Low key, I might be doing that Don Trip album. He sounded mad horny on it though, from the first half I listened to. But you know what I mean? But Who knows? It might be worth a listen because y'all might not be up on my man Trip. You know what I'm saying? Trip is fire to me. I love Trip. Some of my Indianapolis homies think he's super, but I mess with dude. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much, Philip Banks. Thank you very much, my man. Uh, yeah, Don Trip, man. Hey, yo, I mess with Trip. Trip fire to me. So that low key, that might be one. Shoot, I could pick any of the projects he dropped last year and do a review. To be honest with you, he put out a lot of music last year. So, or was that the year before? I forget. It's 2025. But no matter what, hey, listen, I sincerely appreciate y'all for checking this out. Whenever you decide to check this out, I saw the views go up during the middle of this, and I appreciate that. Hey, let me know. Bren Joy's Sunset Black. You listen to it, you mess with it. The Camp from the Port put you on. Were you already hip? Let me know the deal. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, please be safe out there. Please. And always know that consensually, it's love.